Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about 3 times a heartbreak. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Hello! I was told that this was the place to write out my story, so I figured I'd give my Final Fantasy XIV drama story a shot. This isn't one of those AITA, am I the asshole stories? Although I know that I 100% am. Damn! Alright, okay. I'm so excited to actually hear the other side, you know, like the antagonist side of a drama story. Okay. But the more I watched your videos, the more I wanted to share mine. I'm not the best at storytelling, so feel free to wordsmith anything here as long as the core story stays the same. We never change like someone's story to sound like completely different, mind you. It's always just fixing people's sentences and stuff like that. This story is about the time I broke someone's heart. Again and again and again. How could you break someone's heart so many times, man? How? Well, we're about to find out. I started playing Final Fantasy XIV back in Heavensward after my friend, who was also my coworker, had convinced me to start up a subscription. In the past, I had played a few Final Fantasy games, but I wouldn't consider myself a die-hard fan by any means. So far, I've only played 7R, Crisis Core, 10, and 14. Coming from WoW to Final Fantasy XIV was incredibly refreshing, as most of the people I had encountered were extremely helpful and patient, as our community is. In my early days, I bounced around a few different FCs until I found a solid group to consistently run with. Eventually, our leader disappeared. We thought something happened, but it turned out he just had a kid and didn't let anyone know. Hey, you know what? Sometimes life happens and it makes sense that someone doesn't come in and be like, by the way, guys, I have a kid. I'm gonna disappear for a while. They just do them. They just do them. Since no one really wanted to assume leadership, we all decided to move over to a different server and join one of our crew's prior FCs. When we arrived, it didn't take too long to warm up to some of our new FC mates, as they were extremely welcoming. I had just leveled my character to cap and was in the process of leveling more characters. So some of these people helped me a lot with my tanking and healing anxiety. I'm still nervous to do either. Dude, that's an ongoing pattern. I always, hear from like people who write in stories that they have healing anxiety, tank anxiety. Is very normal. One of my IRL friends had told me they met their, at the time, boyfriend through WoW and moved out to be with him, which is how she and I met. At the time, I thought this was kind of a silly idea by her, moving into a place with a guy she had met from an online game. That is, until I met Noah. Oh, so it happened to OP too. It can happen to anyone. We hit it off almost immediately. He was one of the FC's few other game members. It didn't take long for us to start running through content together. He taught me a lot about the different aspects of the game. Housing, raiding, rotations, how to avoid clipping during rotations, etc. Our relationship seemed to grow at a fairly fast rate. We started to get to know each other on a personal level, adding each other on Facebook. Damn! I feel like when you add someone on Facebook, it's serious. Because they see, like, Facebook has like your whole life, okay? They see everything. They see your family, they see your college friends, they see your posts when you were a teenager. I don't know, That's why I say it's like pretty serious if they added you on Facebook. Exchanging numbers, good morning texts, etc. Even to the point of more explicit exchanges. Use your imagination. I'm a good Christian boy and won't kiss and tell. Wink, wink. Oh, okay. Spicy. As a side note, to emphasize how small the real world really is, we had a mutual friend on Facebook. Oh my gosh. That is pretty small. This was someone that he graduated from high school with. This person was someone that I had performed with in college when I was a music major. Wild, right? That is wild. That I can't believe you had a friend in common on Facebook. Over the next few months, our exchanges started turning into the idea of planning a trip to finally meet each other in person. I've never been good in the love department, so our conversations would go back and forth, meaning I would go back and forth between I'm excited and ready to meet you, and then I think I need more time. Ooh, so his like, it was just like flip-floppy, hot and cold. This was the first time I had self-sabotaged the situation that we were in. My anxiety got the best of me, and overthinking caused me to shut down from him and tell him that I thought it was a good idea if we took a break from each other. Oh, so the hot and cold led OP to be like, let's take a break. Damn. I feel bad for the other person. I could hear the hurt in his voice when he told me he understood. And this is something that replays in my mind to this day. The other party probably was so excited to meet OP. A month or so went by and we got back to a friendly basis where we would start playing together again. The more I played with him and interacted in voice chat, the more I loved who he was. It wouldn't take long for us to start engaging more and more, getting back to where we were before the break. This was just in time for Christmas. To preface, I'm the type of person that loves to give gifts to people, but I am terrible and shy away from receiving them, even for events like my birthday or other celebrations. I had ordered him a set of astrologian cards from Etsy, but refused to accept anything that he wanted to purchase for me. He was pretty well off, which made me feel worse about accepting any gifts from him, so I would frequently refuse. Aw, but sometimes people who want to give you gifts don't want you to not accept it, you know? You understand that big time? Well, understand it from their view too. Like, I know, like, there are people out there who are like, no, you don't have to gift me anything. But if they really, really, really want to gift you something, you know, you're like, okay, should accept it. After a few months, I started falling back into my anxious, avoidant attachment style and began pushing him away again. Oh my God. Okay, so OP is always getting scared. Like, when it starts getting serious, they're like, this is too much. I'm gonna like keep some distance again because it's happening again. When it finally came to a head, he finally told me that he couldn't do it anymore and that he wouldn't take me back when I finally came back to my senses. Yeah, I mean, the other side is just can't deal with it anymore. It's just too back and forth. I understood where he was coming from with this, and I told him that I hoped we could return to being friends in the future. Again, we suffered months of silence and avoided each other actively, to the point where I wasn't even logging in to play despite the protests of the small group of friends I had bonded with within the FC. During that time, he had left the FC and made one of his own that was focused around hardcore raiding. He was one of those top bards on our server, and then later he played dancer. I was the first to reach out for the third time, knowing that I shouldn't and that I should leave him alone to live his life. but I was obsessed and hated not interacting with him. I feel like OP is like, every time he loses him, he's always like, I need them back in my life. Like, they start realizing how much they mean to them, but then it gets close again, and then he gets scared, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so back and forth. I asked him if he still had the Astro cards I had purchased for him, to which he responded, of course he did. While we started interacting again, he did warn me that he had started seeing someone. I told him I understood and that I would respect that. Our conversations would always cycle around to how he and I were before our split, and how I had messed everything up and it was my loss. It hurt, but I also understood that I had it coming after destroying things between us. Not once, but twice. He would also talk about the guy he was dating, eventually letting it slip how similar this guy was to me, how we had similar family lives, similar mental disorders, and even took the same medication for our depression. It was a little weird to me, but I also took it as a sign he wasn't over me. I called him out on it, and he got pretty upset about it, but admitted later that he hadn't. Oh my god, the door is still open. There's a crack, and OP is trying to slide in for the third time. We stopped talking for a few weeks before I finally broke the silence with a phone call. We had a long, drawn-out conversation over the phone where I had finally gathered the nerve to ask for another chance. He was understandably hesitant and explained that I had a lot to make up for if we wanted to try and make something work. After about 2 hours on the phone, we came to the agreement to try to work things out. This time, however, I told him that I would make the effort to close the distance and arrange for our first meeting. I made plans to fly out to spend his birthday weekend with him. We made a lot of different plans for going out to eat, visiting his favorite bars and clubs, potentially meeting some of his old friends. It was supposed to be an amazing weekend, if I could have only gotten out of my own way. That last line is like, What do you mean, out of your own way? I flew out, and he picked me up at the airport. He was so excited for me to be there. The entire car ride was filled with his excited chatter. I didn't say much, partially because I couldn't get much in, and partially because I was somehow incredibly anxious about being in a city so far away from home. Oh, OP's getting anxious. I wasn't worried for my safety, mind you. He wasn't at all the violent, aggressive type, and even if he had been, I could have handled myself and gotten somewhere safe. We met up with his roommate, who was another FC mate, and had dinner together. The entire time, I was unusually quiet and mostly letting them engage. This isn't like me once I'm comfortable around people, which didn't make sense because they've seen me in a much more engaged and chatty state many times on Discord. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, maybe OP is just not so comfortable in person yet versus online. Something didn't quite feel right to me. I have a little bit of a bitchy stomach, so thanks to my upset stomach, we couldn't really do anything that night, if you catch my drift. Sorry, trying not to be lewd. We did sleep in the same bed though. Damn, I like, look, OP giving us the details. I feel like whoever OP is talking about, if they watch my channel, they're gonna know this is about them. 100%, right? When I woke up in the morning, he was already up and in the kitchen making breakfast. Oh, it's so cute. He was on the phone with his friend talking about how excited he was to have me out there with him. The entire time, I felt like I was being incredibly fake, smiling and laughing with the jokes he was telling. Oh no. Which normally would be genuine because he's a really funny guy. I excused myself to step outside for a cigarette and to let my aunt, who I was living with at the time, know how everything was. When I stepped outside, I called my aunt and explained to her in Spanish. I'm not fluent, but she is, and I felt comfortable talking to her this way without concern and being overheard. That I wasn't feeling this connection and wanted to leave. She was worried, but thankfully I had a friend from home who happened to be in the same city as I was at the time, whom I'd asked to stay with until my flight later that weekend. Oh my god, their partner is going to be so hurt. Their boyfriend's going to be so hurt. I know that they're not officially together, but you know what I mean. I assured my aunt that I had somewhere to go and that I would see her on Sunday. The time came for me to come clean to Noah about how I felt. That's right, his name is Noah. I was always saying like the other side. His name is Noah. The time came for me to come clean to Noah about how I felt. I showered, packed my things, and when he came into the room to check on me, I had explained to him that I wasn't feeling the same things he felt for me and that I needed to leave. He was absolutely heartbroken, understandably. What happened after that point, I don't exactly remember. I was in a huge city that I've never been in before, around people that I had only known virtually, with only one friend on the other side of the city. I wasn't in danger, but my fight, flight, or freeze mechanism was cycling between all three so fast that I couldn't function properly. He went back and forth between telling me to leave and begging me to stay. Finally, I ordered an Uber and explained that I wouldn't be coming back or engaging with him anymore. We hugged for the last time, him crying the entire time, and I left. Oh, I feel so bad for Noah. Damn, that's like the worst. Well, you know what? They tried 3 times. This has to be the last straw. But like, damn, on Noah's birthday. That's so cold. But I mean, OP just wasn't feeling it, you know? And he didn't want to be fake anymore. It's such a terrible situation for both sides. Really sucks, yeah. When I got to the hotel, I was completely numb and had no desire to do anything. My friend made sure I had access to her room while she was in her classes and conferences by leaving a key at the front desk. I went up to her room and mostly stayed there for the entire weekend, leaving only to have quick dinner with her or to smoke. While I was there, I downloaded Grindr and began talking to someone who was staying there. After some back and forth messaging, we decided to meet up for a drink. One thing led to another. We went up to his room and, well, yeah, you read that right. I flew out to meet a guy I had been long distance dating, only to end up breaking up with him and sleeping with someone completely random in the hotel I was staying at. Damn, okay. So OPB player? Question mark? I'm trying. Why do they feel uncomfortable around someone they really know well? And then to a random, it's like, yo, I'm all in. Let's go in. I don't know. Okay, I think I get it now. I think OP just can't be tied down in a relationship. Plain and simple. They're just too scared of being in a serious relationship. I am not proud of this whatsoever. My choices from that weekend have had a lasting impact on my dating life. And to this day, I haven't been in a serious relationship. I was a lot younger then than I am now, and I know that I've grown up since, but I still carry that constant fear of commitment. There we go. Oh, there we go. Constant fear of commitment, and haven't been able to get past my anxious avoidant attachment style. I think OP said it best here. You know, when you're young, you do a lot of dumb stuff. You learn a lot through little things that you do. Every early relationship that you've had in your life is like such a learning experience. It just sucks that, you know, people get hurt along the way sometimes through it. We've spoken a few times since, trying to get back to some semblance of a friendship. Oh my god, they're still talking. We both know by this point that we aren't good for each other, or more accurately, I'm not good for him, despite how well he treated me. Does no one know you slept with someone in their city? I bet he doesn't know. Oh my god, if he reads the story, he's gonna know. I'm no longer part of that FC that we met in, mostly because the roommate, who has a tendency to spin lies, told the rest of the FC that we got into a huge fight, screaming and yelling at each other. Oh, so Noah's roommate told the other people in the FC, yeah, you know, OP and Noah, when they met IRL, they were screaming at each other. He passed that information to the whole FC. Again, I don't remember much of what had happened during our confrontation, but I know that it wasn't anywhere near to that level of a fight. About 3 years ago, we got into another argument and finally made the mutual decision to let each other go for good. We've engaged in a few of each other's social media posts, like likes on TikTok, Instagram, etc., but have not reached out to each other. Oh, so just liking each other's posts. As I said above, I am not proud of my behavior. I was given multiple chances by someone who genuinely loved me, and each time I proved that I couldn't handle what he had to give. My own thoughts got in the way, constantly telling me that it never would have worked out, and finding reasons to not have feelings for him, only to later snap out of my self-pity and realize that I ruined something genuine. They say that you only get 3 loves in your life. The first in your youth, the fairy tale. The second is considered the hard love that teaches us valuable lessons about ourselves. And the third, which is one that comes out of nowhere and has no rules. I'm not sure which love this is for me, but right at this point, even after dating here and there over the last few years, I feel like I won't find a love like that again. Oh, damn. So are they saying Noah is the one that got away? Hopefully, this story isn't all over the place, and I apologize if my storytelling leaves a lot to be desired. I wrote this out as this has been weighing on my chest for years, and I haven't been able to explain it until now. Part of me hopes that he watches your channel, sees this, and understands that I was young, foolish, entirely unstable, and had a lot of narcissistic tendencies, all of which I am entirely ashamed of. Either way, I needed to get this out there. I'm continuing to work on myself and have come to terms with the understanding that I need a lot of behavioral therapy in order to break these cyclical nightmares that I've found myself in. I hope that one day he will truly forgive me and we can at least be friends, but I don't expect it and would understand if nothing more was said between us. The end. I'm really, really happy that someone submitted like the other side, because we're always so used to like the OP sending us the story about how they're the victim, right? And now we get like, hey, I was the bad guy, and these are the kind of the reasons why I did what I did. And I like that they're owning up to it. They've learned from it. It's very real, you know, like, because we all make mistakes. So I like these stories where it's like we just get to hear the other side. I respect OP for being honest. Many would just blame the other party. Yeah, I think OP's writing this because they want to express how they feel to Noah without actually telling Noah themselves. Or it's also a learning thing that maybe other people out there could relate, learn from this. So there's that too. But yeah, oh my god, if Noah sees this story on YouTube, oh my god. And that's happened in the past. Like some people like listen to my stories and then they're like, wait, this is me. But like, I'm wondering how long ago was this? Time does heal. So whether Noah will forgive or not, I think depends on how long it truly has been. Like, what if this was a story of them in their 20s and now they're like 30? or in their 30s. Okay, I want to read what some of you guys have to say. Noah deserved better, not gonna lie. Noah didn't deserve that. You guys are so cute. Based roommate. But they still spy on each other. I think it, like, you naturally see those random things on social media, right? Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.